Hi. Hello.
So my ongoing joke for the day is about the dogs. What everyone says, don't work with dogs.
I know.
And how do you like working with the dogs?
I like working with Poker just fine. He's a lovely dog, and he's sweet and eager to please, and he's a lot of fun. But the old adage is a solid one from an actor's point of view. It doesn't mean so much that the work will be difficult. It means that you cannot ever prevail in a scene with a dog or a baby. No matter, you can be acting your ass off, and the audience will be looking where? At the dog or at the baby. So that's why there's that old actor's canard, and it still holds true. I have accepted the fact that when I do a scene with Bear, the scene is about Bear. And why not?
Okay.
How's the journey playing the Finch? Because when you play the pilot, you must have the idea who Finch is, and then after that there are so many flashbacks and so is there surprises, or is that what you expected?
I don't think very much about. I don't try to imagine where things are going or what I'm supposed to do. I tend to work more micro than macro. I just try to solve the scenes. Every day a new scene, and I think the arc of the show is a contract between the writers and the audience, and I'm somewhere in the middle, just a day player, a technician, and I solve little problems, like what's the best way to say this line, or what's the best way to express surprise in this moment. Little things like the details. That's what I'm interested in.
Coming from Lost, where I'll admit I was a Ben Linus fan from the beginning. I always rooted for you, even in your most evilest of machinations. Coming from someone who came into a show that already established, blew it up, made yourself a role that necessarily wasn't going to be a large role, and now you're a headliner in a show. How was that for an adjustment for you? And it also being a huge hit, commercially, not just a fan base like Lost was. Was it a big adjustment being the guy, the name on the marquee?
Yeah.
Versus...
it is. It's daunting. Lost, I could come in the back door and sneak up on people, and there were no expectations. When you're in the pilot of a thing, the bar is high and people's expectations are high. So I slept better when I was on Lost than I do now on Person of Interest.
Were there any concerns taking this role?
Only to the extent that you worry after you've had a success as a character on a popular show. The next thing you do is kind of a daunting choice. It's possible to leap too soon onto something, or to wait too long and lose steam. So that was a hard thing to figure out, and I'm not sure I even did figure it out. I wouldn't say that me being on Person of Interest is the effect of me having a good policy or making particular decisions. It's just me reacting to a script, which the pilot script for Person of Interest was one that was good enough where you go, I shouldn't miss out on this. Let's do it. Whether it's the right thing, or if it's different enough, or too different, or is it too soon to be working again, or if you've worn out your audience, all those considerations, you forget about that. It's just follow the good material.
When you look at the show from season 1 to where you're going in season 2, and the relationship between Finch and John, how do you think it's evolved in your mind? How are things changing between them in terms of their dynamic?
Well, it seems to be a little easier between them. The camaraderie seems to be more solidly in place. And yet the trick for us and for the writers is to never let it be casual. The stakes must always be dire. At the end of the day, no matter how well they get along, or how many jokes they have, or how cute the dog is, they're on what must surely end up being a suicide mission. Every moment is borrowed time. Every new number is more than likely the last, considering the forces that are arrayed against them. So we have to give the audience some warmth, and at the same time keep it desperate. It's a tricky balance.
Can you talk a little bit about taking on the iconic role of the Joker in The Dark Knight Returns?
Well, thank goodness it didn't dawn on me when I got the part and said yes to it that it was as iconic as it is. I don't pay as much attention to the comic world as probably most everyone else in this building today. So, mercifully, I had not seen most recent film versions of that franchise. The Joker I had in my head was Cesar Romero from the TV series. So, but I knew the parameters of the role. I mean, you play the character based partly on the name of the character, but there's also a kind of diseased personality that goes with that character, and that is being in a state of pathological mockery at all times, and it's deadly and frightening.
People who play that character seem to always lose themselves. You know, Mark Hamill.
I think because the character is an exemplar avatar of some kind of common psychological disorder taken to an extreme and theatrical level.
As an actor, how do you avoid getting sucked in like that?
Every actor's going to have a different answer to that. My answer is that, to me, I always know it's just playing a part, and I can check out at the end of the day. But yeah, you can. I suppose it's true that some roles you get more submerged in than others. But I think I'm a technical actor, and I'm not a guy to get lost.
But also not being made up as the Joker, dressed as the Joker.
Right, and that's a big difference. It's all vocal in an animated show. So there's not that transformation. I don't look in the mirror and see the Joker. I'm just in a booth with headphones on and a really strong director pushing me to the limit.
Back to perspectives for a second. Just as the season goes on, are there any expectations that you have as far as your relationship with Groot goes? Anywhere you'd like to see that arc? Because there definitely seems to be like a love-hate thing. I think the characters are drawn to each other because of their commonality, being gifted with computer and understanding the nature of the machine, but also you're also repelled by the character of Groot because it's an antithesis of what you want the machine to be or where you want to go. You don't want it to be free. Do you have any feelings or input on to where that arc goes with the two of them together?
Well, only writers will determine where things go.
Okay,
but certainly there's some residual fascination with her on Finch's part, but it's a very cold fascination now. But we have certainly not seen the last of Groot.
Do you see yourself doing any kind of video game voiceovers at all? I mean, have you tried it or wanted to do some kind of voiceovers other than being in the Joker, like as far as in video games, having a character?
I audition for voice work all the time. I hardly ever get the part. I don't know why.
You said you're more of a technical actor. Is the suit you, or is that sort of a tribute to
Oh yeah,
Vince?
most mornings I do dress myself, and I did. True to form, I did this morning. But I think a bit of Mr. Finch came out today.
Thank you, folks. We have to move on.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice talking to you all.